drawer right underneath that computer. They're just loose in there. There might be in a baggie, or there might have been a baggie at some point, but who knows? All right, so friends, take good notes on going over this. You're going to see a quiz on Friday. Still follow me? In which this sheet can be used. Have I steered you wrong yet? Okay. You might have to dig around under the calculators and stuff. I know it's somewhere in there. Did you get it? So please take diligent notes on this. This video will be up. This sheet can be used on the quiz. I'm not gonna change it to some impossible type of problem, but on Friday you will see a quiz just like this on, what page is that? Page 109? Cool. Deal? Make sense? Everyone with me? Okay. So the first thing it says a person with heart problems is asked by his doctor to take a systolic blood pressure reading every day for a month for 31 days. If the average of all the readings exceeds 140, then he is prescribed a new medication. Okay. Assume that the average of all these readings is 144.5 with standard deviation of 25. The patient explains that he shouldn't go on his new medication because it's simply luck that explains why he was over 140. Okay, is this the right question? Okay. Is there strong evidence for the doctor to go ahead and prescribe this new medication? Follow the entire 6-step procedure. Okay, first thing. How many people are involved in this survey? Okay. Does this sound like something like a doctor might do? Not to y'all because you're all young, but like get to a guy like my age. I mean, I go every year to make sure that my ticker's still ticking. Say, I got another year teaching. He goes, oh, yeah, you'll be fine. So things that have taken place over the last 12 years. My thyroid stopped working when I was 40, which they say that happens in most males around age 40. That's the claim. I don't have the statistical significance of this. So I have to take ground up pig thyroid, which is a little pink pill, so it doesn't really taste it. So it supposedly means my thyroid is then good. And they test it every year to make sure my thyroid medication is having my thyroid at the appropriate level. Seems good. I mean, ground up pig thyroid is what I'm eating. I'm pretty sure I'm getting pig thyroid in hot dogs I'm eating as well. Just trying to give you the heads up on it. Because of genetics, I am on cholesterol medication, and I have done everything in my power to change my diet for an entire year to see if I could lower my cholesterol. My cholesterol level, regardless, thanks to my genetics. I was on blood pressure medication when I was down in Douglas County. They were doing, when I was at Chaparral, they were doing some really goofy things that had nothing to do with helping kids, but a lot of pressure on teachers. And I was kind of like, who cares? But it was laying on me. And I get to this school district, so I work harder in this school district. I enjoy it a heck of a lot more because you guys are so awesome. And I went to the year after I got to the school district, I went to the doctor and he checked my blood pressure. And then he had me lay down, check my blood pressure. Then he had me sit and take my blood pressure. Then he had me stand up, take my blood pressure, and did it on each arm. And I'm just looking, I'm going, oh no, what did he find? My blood pressure was so low. He was asking me if I'd pass out from time to time. And I'm like, no. He goes, well, you should be passing out with how low your blood pressure. So because I moved to a better place, in a better district with better kids, I'm off heart medication. So I thank you to all of you. Appreciate you. You guys are healthy for me. But so a thing on the statistics that has to be cautious, and I'm not saying that your doctor doesn't know what they're talking about, but be cautious if they want to put you on a radical medication for something, allow a larger gamut of tests to take place. Okay, I'm not saying medications don't work. I'm just saying I'm kind of the guy that I hate the fact that I have to take cholesterol medication for the rest of my life, but the cholesterol medication I'm taking came out in 1951. How much data do you think they have on this cholesterol medication since 1951? A whole bunch. And every now and then I'll go to the doctor, hey, we're going to switch you to this cholesterol medication. Why is that? Oh, it's a new one. Okay. My cholesterol medication cost me $0 with my insurance for a 90-day supply. How much does this one cost? Oh, it's $450 for a 30-day supply. We ain't switching. And I kid you not, these are conversations I've had with my doctor. And I've explained to the doctor, I said, you understand that the medication you have me on came out in 1951. There are millions upon millions upon millions of people that have taken this medication, and they're fine. Now you're going to give me this new medication that could lead to bloody diarrhea as a side effect? No. And I got to pay $450 for it? No. So I'm kind of being facetious on this, but I'm kind of being silly. So, all right. So we ready to start right now? We understand what the problem is? All right. So we are going to, on page number, page 109. Make sure you have everything written down because the quiz on Friday will indeed have this on there, okay? Okay, so our null hypothesis is basically saying that we could just say that our blood pressure, we could say mu is blood pressure, okay? And then our alternative, the doctor feels that the blood pressure is too high. It's above 140. Let's say 140 is the good region for it. Okay. All right. We can also create ourselves a normal distribution. The best you can draw on a normal curve. So we're going to make this off of 140. And then they said the standard deviation assume that the average of all these readings is 144.5 with standard deviation 25. Oh, okay. So, but they tell us that basically our mean should be 140. Now, we're going to create our standard error, and our standard error is a little strange on this one because they tell us the standard deviation is 25. And then because we're going to use root 31, and we're going to base this on days. Okay? And if I do that, it comes out to a standard error of roughly 4.5, rounded. So create a normal curve, 144.5, 149, 153.5, and then go the opposite way. 131 and 126.5. Okay, so that's just a normal curve just to look at. It's just to kind of give you a visual representation of the data we're looking for to the right. So it's a one-tailed test. And then they tell us that our particular patient has all of the average of all the readings was above 144.5. So basically, what's going on over there? Yeah, baby. Okay. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Hey, was that coincidental? Did that happen on purpose? What took place with that? All right. So then we have to then find our p-value based on this. So our p-value is going to be using Desmos. So I got to jump in there. All right, so normal distribution. They gave us a 140 with a standard deviation of 25. Remember, hit the plus, so it'll say there's your normal distribution based on this activity. And we want to know what's the chance, what's our p-value, that there's 144.5. So that'll be my bottom limit. Okay? Oh, wait a minute. Why am I off? Oh. I found the standard error, right? Standard error is 4.5. I'm so sorry. I have the wrong information in there. Come on, go back. Got to change my standard deviation for the 4.5. There we go. That's better. So make sure you don't use the actual standard deviation, you use the standard error. Don't make mistakes like Stirrup does. All right, so we basically come to a p-value of 0.159. Okay, that's the area to the right. So our p-value is 0.159. Okay, so it didn't tell us to have an alpha number of anything in there, does it? Just says follow the steps for the procedure. So if they don't give us an alpha value, which is basically a p-value, being that our p-value is greater than 0.05, because this was the go-to, unless they give you an alpha score. Okay? So being that this has taken place, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Okay? We failed to reject. That means that we did not find strong evidence against the null hypothesis. So fail to reject seems like a funny way to say it, but that's the words I use. So we don't find strong evidence that the patient's average blood pressure is higher. So in this case, we fail to reject. So the patient advocating for themselves has deemed themselves not having to be on medication. Now, this could be, what do you think, type 1 or type 2? Type 2, I believe, is where I have to look it up because I can't remember it. I'm sorry. I wish I was more better. So the type 2 error is when we fail to reject the null that is actually true. So this could be a type 2 error. And that's where we fail to reject the null when the null is really false. All right. So what ramifications could take place if this was a type 2 error? Yeah, overprescribing medication. Very good. So, or in this case, it could be underprescribed medication, right? It would depend which way your tail is going. But a type 2 error is we're failing to reject. So you're basically, as the patient, telling the doctor, you don't have enough evidence to verify that I should be on this medication. And the doctor looks at all the statistics going, you know what, I didn't do well in statistics in med school, but I think you're right. And so you go home, you're no longer on the medication, and 2 weeks later you have a massive heart attack. Okay? So I mean, I'm just saying that there's problems that could take place with this. And then a flag that we want to definitely talk about on this is you're talking about one patient. Okay? So perhaps you have grandparents or parents that might have one of those blood pressure cuffs at home sitting next to the where they maybe watch TV or read or whatever. That blood pressure cuff that came from Walgreens that cost you $12.99, it might not be reading things legitimately. So in this case, I mean, there's just things that I look at here saying I would want a lot more evidence. I would maybe want more than 31 days. I would maybe want to go with collect data over a whole year. Let's collect data based in the office and from my home thing. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a real life perspective of this kind of data. Okay? Friends, does this type of question make sense? Okay, so friends, I will tell you, being that you're here, you all earned a 3 out of 4 because none of you had started this. If you would like your 3 out of 4 to get to a 4 out of 4 by tomorrow, would you try the back page? Please. If you're happy with a 3 out of 4, I'll be happy with a 3 out of 4. Do it. Deal?